see me on day one of Automechanika, I'm very, very honoured. I appreciate it. Thank you. So what on earth am I going on about? 10,000 hours not required. We're going to talk about getting new revenue streams in your workshops and how to make it easy, disseminate information, and earn some money, hopefully, for your workshops. And I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks that I've learned across the way working with some of the people in the crowd. I'll wait for this to come up. So what's on our agenda? A little bit about me, and we're going to then get into a very philosophical discussion about why we visit trade shows. And then we're going to talk about Eric Clapton and Roger Federer and learner drivers. I'm not kidding. And then we're actually going to hopefully give you some tips and tricks from there on. So, what are we all about? Well, I don't know if you've heard of the National Tyre Distributors Association. It's effectively the UK Tyre Industry Association. It's a voice for the tyre industry. And as of tomorrow, I become chairman of it. I'm very privileged to be in that position. We work with the largest tyre retailers in the country, as well as the most respected regional ones and some of the local ones as well. So we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tyre chains. And that's what the NTDA does. They look after the retail and wholesale interests of the tyre trade. I'm also managing director of a company called Autogem in Victor. We're exhibiting here today over at the front of this hall, near the entrance. We're a business that sells tyre consumables, workshop consumables, TPMF, as well as exhaust consumables. We're kind of a one-stop shop for very large multi-site organisations. And we've been bringing TPMS to the UK since 2008. Now, if you bear in mind, TPMS legislation actually kicked in the UK in 2014. That was quite ahead of the curve. So we introduced new technology to very large retail networks, and we've learned quite a lot from that experience. And today really is about giving you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned in that experience. We're also very fortunate to work with many sides of the distribution chain. So we work with motor factors, we work with vehicle manufacturers, we work with the Quick Fits and the National Tyres and the ATS of this world, if you want to call them that. And we also have a large export business as well. So we're really, really lucky to get a view across many different aspects of the distribution chain. And that gives us, again, some interesting ideas, and hopefully today you'll enjoy a few things that I can tell you. So here we are. Why do we visit trade shows? Is anyone going to get interactive with me? I know some of your names, so I can start calling them out. Why do we visit trade shows? Network? Not the answer I was looking for, but thank you. Anyone else? He definitely knows why he's visiting trade shows. Well, some people come and check out what the competition's up to, possibly. Some people are also looking for gold. They're looking for that next big product or service. And it's all well and good finding that product or service. But what I'm really talking about today is how are we going to help you sell it? How are we going to help you make money from it quickly and consistently? We can all get very excited. Here we are, there's 800 odd exhibitors. There's definitely gold in their hall, like the Prospector. You can find it here for sure. But I want to help you hopefully go away with an aha moment. I hadn't thought of that. That's a good little tip and trick that's going to help me sell it quickly to my business. I'm going to get interactive with you again. Thank you very much at the back. Can you remember the first time you drove a car?
It was a long, long time ago.
But how was it? Was it good for you?
It was.
So you weren't like this guy in the corner? Because that was how it was for you. Well, what I'm trying to say is driving a car, for me, was not particularly easy. And I did pass my motorcycle test and my car test first time. Thank you very much. But I didn't find it particularly easy. I was 15 years old, I was in India, and I did end up hitting a wall, very gently, but that was my first experience of driving a car. I had to think, press your clutch, push the gear lever, use the accelerator. What's all this handbrake all about? It's quite complicated. And I think my point is, let's not underestimate how complicated it is to sell a new product or service. It's quite challenging actually. You've got to get used to it. You've got to be able to breathe in and breathe out without thinking about it. You've got to be like Eric Clapton, closing his eyes, playing Layla for you, MTV Unplugged, I'm telling you my age now. Or Roger Federer playing Rafa Nadal and not really panicking about it. although he should because he's my hero. But I'm just trying to sort of remind everyone, it's not easy to sell a new product or service. We have to take our time, we have to practice. Now this 10,000 hour theory, I don't know if any of you have heard of it or not, but 10,000 hours, the concept is, you do something for 10,000 hours, you can become world class in it. And I put a little link down there called the danplan.com, which is actually a real giggle. It's about an ordinary Joe, journalist, I think he's 30 odd, decided he's going to play golf, and he's going to do it for 10,000 hours, and he's going to monitor his handicap. So go and have a look at the website. I think he's got about 4,000 hours to go. And you'll get to see how he's getting on with that, and whether he's becoming world class or not. But the little tips and tricks I'm going to give you now, because I know I've been building it up, will hopefully make your lives a bit easier, and it means you don't have to do 10,000 hours, which is the equivalent of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for about 5 years, I think, if I got my maths right. That's a lot of practice. Let's start with the first thing, making the business case. Very, very important. It's really easy to sell something you believe in. I mean, that's our philosophy. We like to sell products we believe in, otherwise it makes it a bit harder. But the point is, you've got to bear in mind the scale of the operation you're dealing with. Some people will be fortunate enough to be in small businesses where they can make decisions quickly and they can say, hey, you are going to sell this product, whether you like it or not. But other people are in large organisations, and yes, I am looking at you, although you're not looking at me, who's in a particularly large organisation. And the scale of operation can really mean that a business case is really, really important. And the complexity of that business case is also very important. You've got to take into account lots of different factors. So, for example, procurement team. These guys might be bonused to actually keep stock levels down. What's their investment going to be? They might be against you on that one. You might get brand police. We're going to go, oh no, we can't have that. That doesn't fit with what we believe in. You've got a training team or an operations team will have their own little slant on things. The IT guys, they can always be particularly Sheldon-like if you're a Big Bang Theory fan. Senior management's normally actually quite an easy one because you give them the numbers and they're generally quite happy to go with those things. But that's just the business case for the management side of the business. Don't forget, you've got the people who are actually going to do the job on the shop floor. You've got to think about their divisional managers, the regional managers, the centre managers. And one of the things that people forget about is actually the front of counter staff. That's why I've highlighted it in red. Really, really important they understand why they're being asked to actually sell a new product. And you've got to get into them and explain it to them. We've been very fortunate when we introduced TPMS to the UK. We thought about these guys, we thought about the technicians who are in the back of the workshop and not engaging with the customers. And saying, look, why is your company investing in this? What is the reason? And we would explain about, the MOT, about legislation coming on vehicles and this great big tidal wave of TPMS sensors and so on. It's really, really important to make that business case properly. So just wanted to start with that one for you guys. Ownership. This can be really easy or really difficult, depending on, again, the size of business you're in and the kind of management structure you guys have. I've got a good example, and it is about one of the businesses that's present today. We dealt with a very large organisation, and what we noticed is they came to us, we sold them our TPMS solution. The new products team had a look at it, and then they said, okay, thank you, looks fantastic. We're now going to take it to a product committee. The product committee then had a look at it. Yep, fantastic. We're going to buy it. It's now going to go through the procurement team. We set up all the mins and maxes. Fantastic. Now it goes to the IT guys. We've got to get the EDI set up, and that's now their responsibility. Oh, and now it goes to the training guys, because they're going to teach everyone how to use this product. Oh, and now it's over to operations. And we're standing there going, well, who's actually owning this product? Who's owning this project? It's actually quite difficult. So it's constantly moving. And project managers are really, really important to get someone good in place. Put good reporting and review structures so that you can regularly see what's going on. Very, very important. At the bottom of the slide there, I put develop shop floor up communications. Sounds quite weird. Now, for those of you who've got kind of whingers in your business, sometimes the whingers can be really, really useful. So they can spot and complain, especially when you're rolling out a new product. They can tell you what the issues are. It's good to have a direct line of communication up to your project manager so they can then tweak that little rollout plan for you. So ownership, very, very important. I often feel like that orange being squeezed. Every last drop of it being squeezed out. It's quite nice being a supplier to some of these fantastic organisations. Some of them really appreciate the value add that you do, and some of them try to pretend there's no value add whatsoever. But in any case, the point is, look for an ambitious partner. Somebody who likes to be squeezed and feel valued for being squeezed. I love to be squeezed, by the way. You can come and give me a hug afterwards if fancy. Are they a specialist in what they do? We had an interesting situation where we had a rotating electrics company come to us and say, oh, we want to sell you a TPMS solution. I'm saying, to who? What's your customer base? What do you know about the tyre industry? It just didn't make any sense. So look at your suppliers and say, are they specialists? Do they know your industry well? Are they going to help you do your business case? Why not? Lean on them. Get them to do the hard work. Because that's what they should be there for. Do they have a technical hotline? Something dedicated? Use them. Have they got a field sales support team? Could perhaps help you with training? Do they have good online resources? Do they have literature? Just, I'm sorry to say it, milk them, because that's what they're there for, and they will feel happy to help you. Do they have a rollout timeline? We're quite into the rollout, and I'm going to touch on that in a moment. So work your supply chain and respect the value add. Systems integration, another interesting one. I think sometimes we find these fantastic products, but we forget there's actually quite a lot of systems work to go with it. Again, a good example with TPMS is we have a large chain we work with, over 100 locations. They didn't set up a reordering system for buying this product that they invested in. It happens. Set up proper mins and maxes. Make sure your procurement team's all set for that. Think about POS or CRM systems. We're selling quite an interesting system that captures a lot of big data at the moment. If that can feed into your CRM system, nothing like it. Get the supplier to do the work again. If you're selling a product that requires some aspect of vehicle inspection, look at your standard operating procedures and ask yourself, how can I incorporate, for example, TPMS valve inspection into my regular tyre inspection? There's no harm in sitting there and spending a little time to assess it, and then roll that out across your business. Make sure you set up sales reporting. It's very, very important. There's no point buying this fancy new product, getting all excited about it, and never really knowing how to monitor the sales on it. I know it all sounds a bit obvious, but sometimes people do miss it. You've got that good supplier that likes to be squeezed. They should be doing that job for you, sending you regular monthly reports. Don't forget marketing. Sometimes we do. You've got this lovely new product. It's going to be a core part of your business. Get your website updated, improve your signage, think about countertop or TV sales and so on. And unfortunately in our industry we have quite a lot of staff turnover sometimes, and certainly in some sectors. So think about incorporating this into your induction courses as well. Because we certainly have seen people leave and knowledge going. We spend all this time training people and then suddenly it's gone. You've got to start all over again. Which leads me on to Star Wars. I've talked about Eric Clapton today. I've talked about Roger Federer. Now I'm going to talk about Yoda. If I was Darth Vader, I would want Yoda telling me how to sort of deal with Luke Skywalker, or vice versa. I think I did get that the wrong way around, didn't I? But training essentially is as important as that golden nugget. What is the point in going around these lovely halls, finding this amazing product, if you can't teach your staff how to sell it? Really, really, really important. We're obsessed with training also. Don't forget that different people learn in different ways. There's theoretical training, there's practical training. Mix it up. Try to take the boredom out of it. Try to get them out of the classroom. It often helps. If you've got trainers within your business, train them up. And there's a secret to this, because not only do you have knowledge that you can keep referring to, but then you can actually go back to your suppliers, like us, who love being squeezed, and you can squeeze them a little bit harder, going, oh, I know all about your TPMS now, Prashant. I now want to talk to you about price. You've taught me everything I need to know. Well, why not train your trainers and get your own business really, really building its own expertise up? We like using a timeline when we train people up. We actually have 3 forms of training, so I'm gonna plug it, I'm afraid. We do an online training course. After that, once that's sort of pre-training, if you want to call it, we followed up with face-to-face training, and then we have an 8-week post-training training, where we drip feed information from those various training courses. And all the way, we've got reviews with management, reviews with staff, and so on, and we're reporting information back to people. Really, really good to have a good timeline in place to really sort of build confidence in the business, because confidence will breed success at point of sale. I think lastly, if you are going to find some new technology, don't forget you need a lot of patience and persistence. It comes back to driving the car. We all close, well, we don't close our eyes, but we don't think when we drive so much now. It's not so complicated moving that gear lever and pressing the clutch. We want to get to that stage, but it takes a lot of practice. So if anyone's got any questions, I'm here, and I'm also at the front of the hall.